You didn't come this far just to come this far. Let me say that again, because I want it to land somewhere deep in your chest, somewhere below the noise of the day, below the doubt, below the voice that's been telling you to play it safe. You didn't come this far just to come this far. Right now, you might be sitting there feeling the weight of everything you haven't done yet, the idea you haven't started, the version of yourself you keep promising you'll become, the life you can see so clearly once you close your eyes. But the second you open them, it feels 10 years away. I understand that feeling. I want you to know that feeling is not the truth. That feeling is the gap between who you are and who you know you can be. And that gap is not a sign that you're behind. That gap is the exact space where everything meaningful gets built. But here's what nobody tells you. That gap doesn't close by wishing. It doesn't close by watching. And it sure as hell doesn't close by waiting for 2027 to feel more ready. It closes because you decided. Today. Right now. In this moment. Matthew McConaughey once said something that stopped me cold. He said his hero is always 10 years away, always himself a decade older and wiser. And every year he asked himself, am I getting closer to that man? Not catching him, not racing against him. Just, am I moving toward who I'm meant to become? That's the question for 2026. Not did I hit my goals? Not did I outperform anyone else? But did I move toward the person I know deep down I was built to be? Here's something uncomfortable, and I'm gonna say it with love because comfortable lies are the most dangerous thing in the world. Most people are living someone else's life, not dramatically, not obviously. They haven't been kidnapped or forced into anything. They made small agreements one at a time over years. Agreements to shrink a little here, to stay quiet there, to choose the path that felt safer, that made more sense on paper, that other people approved of. And over time, those small agreements added up into a life that works, a life that pays the bills, a life that from the outside looks perfectly fine. But at 3 a.m., when everything is quiet, you know, you feel it, that low hum beneath the surface, that question you try not to ask. Is this it? McConaughey talked about the danger of just because you can doesn't mean you should. He spoke about having his jeans ironed by a housekeeper for the first time and realizing he had never stopped to ask whether he even liked them that way. He just accepted it because he could have it. He said that night he learned one of the most important lessons of his life. Having something and wanting something are two very different things. So let me ask you something right now, no judgment. Are you living a life you chose or a life you inherited? Are you chasing something that lights you up from the inside? Or are you chasing something because it's what success is supposed to look like? Because here's what I know about human beings. We are built for meaning, not comfort. When you strip everything back, when the money and the status and the external approval go quiet, what you're left with is the question of purpose. And purpose, unlike happiness, cannot be outsourced. As McConaughey wrote in Greenlights, the question we need to ask ourselves is, what is success to us? More money? A healthy family? A happy marriage? Helping others? To be famous? Spiritually sound? To create art? To leave the world a better place than we found it? What is success to me? Continue to ask yourself that question. That question will not leave you alone, and it shouldn't. Let it work on you. Let it be uncomfortable, because on the other side of that discomfort is clarity. And clarity is the rarest and most powerful thing a human being can possess. I want to talk about the hard seasons, not the motivational poster version of hard where everything wraps up cleanly with a lesson. I mean the real kind of hard, the kind where you've tried and it didn't work, where you gave everything and it still wasn't enough, where people who you thought were in your corner turned their backs, where you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize who was looking back. Some of you watching this right now are in that season. Maybe 2025 was a year that broke something in you. Maybe it broke a relationship, a dream, a business, a belief you had about yourself. Maybe you got the news you were dreading. Maybe you worked yourself into the ground and got nothing for it. Maybe you feel like the world kept moving and left you behind. I want to tell you something about those seasons. Something that McConaughey captured brilliantly with the metaphor that runs through everything he does. The idea of green lights and red lights. A green light is momentum. A green light is a door opening, the universe saying go, advance, carry on, continue. A red light is the opposite. It's the door slamming, the plan falling through, the diagnosis, the rejection, the defeat. But here's the truth that took him years to understand, and that might take your breath away. What looks like a red light is sometimes the most profound green light of your life. Because red lights force you to stop. And when you stop, really stop, instead of running, you are forced to reckon with yourself. You ask different questions. You make different choices. You find out what you're actually made of. Not what you hoped you were made of. Not what people told you. What you actually are. Every setback contains a redirection. Not always immediately visible. Not always comfortable. But it is there. The great motivational speaker Eric Thomas put it this way: you will never be successful until you turn your pain into greatness. Until you allow your pain to push you from where you are to where you need to be. Stop running from your pain. Your pain is going to be part of your prize. The people who built extraordinary lives, without exception, did not avoid the storm. They walked through it. They came out the other side changed, yes. Scarred perhaps, but stronger. And more importantly, clearer about who they were and what they were here to do. Your red light season is not the end of your story. It is, in fact, the beginning of the most important chapter. There is something that gets said in motivational circles that I want to challenge you on. And that is the idea that you should pursue happiness. I think that is wrong, and I think it's making people quietly miserable. Happiness is result dependent. Happiness says, if I get this, I will feel good. If I achieve that, I will be satisfied. And the moment you achieve it, the moment it's yours, you raise the bar. You need the next thing and the next. Happiness is a moving target that by design, you can never actually reach. McConaughey made this distinction with a kind of clarity that cuts through everything. Happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. It is result reliant. If happiness is what you're after, you're going to be let down frequently. Joy, though, is something else. Joy is the feeling we have from doing what we are fashioned to do, no matter the outcome. Read that again slowly. Joy is the feeling we have from doing what we are fashioned to do, no matter the outcome. That means joy is available to you right now. Not after you lose the weight. Not after you get the promotion. Not after you've sorted the mortgage, fixed the relationship, hit the milestone. Right now. If you are doing the work you are built to do in alignment with who you are at your core, joy is already present. This changes everything because it means the goal of 2026 should not be to get more things. The goal should be to become more yourself, to peel back the layers of performance and expectation and external approval until you find the thing underneath, the thing that doesn't care whether anyone is watching, the thing you do even if it paid nothing, the thing that makes time disappear, and then build your life around that thing. That is the most radical, most countercultural, most genuinely life-changing move you can make in the world we live in today. Now, let's talk about what this actually costs, because nothing I've said is free. Becoming who you are meant to be is not comfortable. It is not polite. It does not fit neatly into other people's expectations of you. There will be people who preferred the old version, the version that was easier to predict, easier to manage, easier to keep in a box. You're going to have to disappoint some people on your way to not disappointing yourself. That's the price of admission. McConaughey said, "Define yourself by what you are not first, and you'll find yourself where you need to be." That means having the courage to eliminate, to walk away from the things that are absorbing your energy, but not returning meaning. The relationships that drain you, the commitments you made out of guilt, the version of success that belongs to someone else. And I want to speak directly to the people in Britain watching this, because there's something quietly unique about the British experience of ambition. There's a cultural modesty here, a resistance to the self-promotional, a suspicion of those who want too much. And while that has its grace, it can also become a cage. You do not have to shout your ambition from the rooftops, but you do have to honor it in private. You do have to take it seriously. You do have to stop treating your own dreams as something slightly embarrassing, slightly too much, slightly too grand for someone like you. Someone like you. Let me tell you something. The people who change this world, the scientists, the artists, the entrepreneurs, the thinkers, the builders, they were all at some point someone like you, sitting in an ordinary room with an extraordinary idea, deciding whether or not to take it seriously. The only difference between the life you have and the life you want is the decision to take yourself seriously, fully, without apology, without waiting for permission. As McConaughey said, and I want you to hear this deeply, don't walk into a place like you want to buy it. Walk in like you already own it. Own it. Own 2026. Not because everything is going to go perfectly. Not because the path is going to be clear. But because you have decided, with everything in you, that you are going to show up as the most honest, most courageous, most fully alive version of yourself. Every single day. I want you to think about someone. Not someone famous. Not someone inspirational you've read about. I want you to think about the version of yourself that exists 10 years from now. The one who made the decisions you're about to make. The one who either took this year seriously or didn't. That person is watching you right now, and they are either thanking you or they are wondering why you stopped. Everything you owe to that person, every sacrifice, every brave choice, every honest conversation you kept avoiding, every morning you chose discipline over comfort, every time you stayed true to what you believed in when the easier path was right there. That is the debt you owe to your future self. Not to your boss, not to your family, not to social media, not to anyone else's vision of who you should be, to you. We are now deep into 2026. The clock has already started. The days are already running. And the question is not whether time is passing. It is. The question is, what are you doing with it? McConaughey wrote, We cannot fully appreciate the light without the shadows. We have to be thrown off balance to find our footing. It's better to jump than fall. Jump. Jump into the project that scares you. Jump into the conversation that needs to happen. Jump into the commitment you've been circling for months. Jump into the version of your life that lives on the other side of the fear. Because I promise you, the jump is shorter than you think. The ground is closer than it appears. And what's waiting for you on the other side of that leap is not perfection. It's not a life free from difficulty. It's something far more valuable. It's you, the real you, arrived, honest, present, alive. So here's where we end. And here is where you begin. 2026 is not just another year. For some of you, it is the year. The year you finally stop negotiating with your own potential. The year you stop living on the edge of your own life, watching it happen to you and start happening to it. You've heard the voices that told you to play it safe. You've listened long enough. You know what reasonable sounds like, and you know what it costs. The reasonable path leads to a reasonable life. And somewhere inside you, you know you were made for more than reasonable. So I'll leave you with this, a direct challenge. Not a nice sentiment, a challenge. Write down who you want to be by the end of this year. Not what you want to have, not what you want to achieve, who you want to be. What words do you want to describe you? What kind of person do you want to have become? When December comes around and you're sitting quiet with yourself, then ask yourself honestly whether the life you're currently living is building that person. And if the answer is no, then something has to change. And the something is not your circumstances. The something is your decision. Because as McConaughey put it, with the kind of blunt Texan clarity that cuts straight through the noise, I'm not perfect. I step in shit all the time and recognize it when I do. I've just learned how to scrape it off my boots and carry on. That's it. That's the whole game. Not perfection, not a flawless record. Just the willingness to keep moving, to scrape it off and carry on. To be honest about where you stumbled and still choose again and again and again to take the next step forward. You don't need a perfect past to build an extraordinary future. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You just need to decide right now, in this moment, that 2026 belongs to you, that you belong to you. Go earn it.